Hello and welcome. We're on example 2 at the moment, and you should have read this problem by now, right? Sarah has $2.35 in nickels and in dimes, right? How much is a nickel worth? I would just annotate that, right? 0.05, right? Not 0.0, let me see, 0.05, not 0.5, that'd be 50 cents, 0.05. And dimes, how much are dimes worth? That's right. If she has a total of 32 coins, how many of each coin does she have? Now, this is similar to the problem up top because we're not talking about the value of things. We're talking about the quantity, how many of something you have, right? So for this, I use A and C for number one. For number two, let's get a little spicy. Use your X and Y values for variables, right? What are we talking about here? What two things have a relationship here? We're talking about nickels, that's right, and dimes. But we know how much they're worth, so X is not going to be the worth, the cost of a nickel, right? We know the cost of a nickel. This is actually going to be, see if you can figure it out before I write it down. X is going to be the number, that's right, the number of nickels, right? And I'm only using nickels because that's what comes first in the text. And y, if x is the amount of nickels you have, y is going to be, that's right, fill that in, the number of dimes that you have. Now let's try to write a system using X and Y, right? Now here we use A plus, like the number of adult tickets, the number of child tickets gave us the total number of tickets, right? What do you think that first system is going to look like? Look at what do you think that first system is going to look like? She has a total of 32 coins, and then she has $2.35, right? We had a total of tickets, and then we had money. This first sentence here, $2.35 in nickels and in dimes, right? $2.35 in nickels and in dimes. Well, if you had one nickel, that's 5 cents, two nickels, 10 cents, three nickels, 15 cents, four nickels, 20 cents. What am I doing with my number of nickels? 5 cents, 5 cents, 5 cents. That's right. I am repeatedly adding, also known as multiplication. So that's going to be 0.05 what? X, right? 5 cents per nickel plus, how you going to write this dime? We're talking about money right now. How are you going to write this in dimes? You're going to write 0.10y. If you're using D, that's fine too. Right? 10 cents per dime is going to give me a total of 32. No, this is not talking about the number of nickels and dimes. It's talking about the money, right? That's why we're multiplying money here. It's actually going to be $2.35. Down here, however, we are talking about the total number of coins. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to have X plus Y. What you got yourself here? You got yourself a little stew of equations. We call that a system of linear equations. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite my system down right now. At this point, let me rewrite this. At this point, you should be like, you know what? I know how to solve this system. I know what I'm going to use, right? You should be thinking, what method will work best to solve this system? I think it's pretty easy to solve the system. You can use substitution if you want to, right? Isolate one of these variables. That'll be efficient. But we did that up top. So now I'm going to actually use elimination, right? And I'm going to actually, you could multiply the bottom equation, right? You want to get opposites. I'm going to want to get the opposite of y. Let me show you why. I'm going to want to do the opposite of y, and I'm going to multiply by a negative number because I want negative something, right? I'm actually going to want the opposite of positive 0.10y. So that's going to be negative 0.10y is what I'm looking for. And how do you get negative 0.10y when this is just what, 1? You multiply by 0.10y. But Mr. Lyons, why did you choose to do that? Eliminate the y's and not the x's? Well, because I am a boss at multiplying by 0.10, by a tenth, right? I'm a boss at that. Well, I know this is 1 as well, and 1 times anything is going to be itself. But when you do 32, take a tenth of 32. The trick is you just move the decimal. So I don't even need to do a lot of math for that. It's going to be 3.2, right? My top equation is not changing. Again, if you feel confident and you're like, I know how to do this at this point, why do I keep doing that? Go ahead and go and do this on your own. Pause the video. Try to do some steps on your own, okay? Now, I already made a mistake right here. What mistake did I make? Look at what I did to the bottom equation. A common mistake here. How did I get 0.10x, negative 0.10x? How did I get 0.10y? What should this be? This should actually be negative 3.20. Make it look like money, right? And now what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and cancel out my y's as we combine this system, right? I'm going to have negative, and I know 10 cents minus 5 cents is 5 cents. Be careful, it's not 50 cents, 5 cents. X equals, I have more negatives here, and then I'm just going to subtract 3.2 minus 2.35. What should you get? Pause the video if you need to. Don't let me do all the work now. I'm giving you a head start, right? And now what I'm finally going to do is I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by negative 0.05. Going to give me 1. X is equal to what? Negative divided by negative is positive, right? X is going to be 17. But what does this mean in the context of the problem? X is 17. Well, go back to your variables. That's why we define our variables. The number of nickels is 17. We have 17 nickels. The number of nickels is 17. Well, this is going to be really easy math, right? If you have 17 nickels, just plug this back in. How many dimes do you have, right? If you have 17 nickels, how many dimes are you going to have, okay? I'm not going to answer that right here because you're going to have a question in the next Nearpod just to answer how many dimes do you have. If you've been following along, even if the math was difficult, you should be able to figure out how many dimes we have at this point, right? We have 17 nickels. And then the next slide, you're going to answer how many dimes do we have, right? The biggest difference today compared to what we did on Tuesday was on Tuesday we had the how much something was worth. Now today we're talking about the quantity, how many of something we have. Okay? Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and I will see you later.